Well, thank you all for coming this morning. My name is Ashford Hughes. I work in the mayor's office. I'm the mayor's senior advisor for workforce diversity and inclusion. And we are really happy to see everyone here this morning to talk about an important topic that I'm pretty sure everybody's heard a radio ad, seen a commercial, or someone has inboxed you somehow about transit. We know right now this is potentially a generational opportunity for us when we look at the economic impact that transit on potential May 1 will have on our city. We're talking about $5.4 billion worth of economics to come to our city, both with business participation, but also through workforce and workforce development. So that's why we wanted an opportunity to get in front of you as you all are connected with individuals in the community that will potentially benefit from various job opportunities that transit will provide. I'm happy and blessed to be here with a group of professionals that are going to make sure that we see this thing through. I also let you know when we open up for a Q&A, if you have a question, if you'll please come to the mic. So ITS, we're recording this as well so we can get it to individuals that were not able to make it here this morning, but we want to make certain that we have everybody a chance and opportunity. This is the second of a series of opportunities that the mayor's office, in conjunction with the Minority Women in Business Assistance Office, has kind of put on to make certain that we're getting the message out about what we do in Metro government and the opportunities that we have in Metro as well. Today we're also joined by Patrick Combs with the Nashville Career Advancement Center, and we're also joined by MTA as well as the Procurement Department. So I'll start with Patrick and move on down the line. If you all introduce yourself for 2 minutes and tell us where you're from and what your organization does.
Gladly, thank you, Ashford. I grew up in Maryland, so that's where I'm from. But my name is Patrick Combs. I'm the Executive Director at the Nashville Career Advancement Center. So we help operate the workforce system here in town. So we help oversee the great work that's done at the American Job Centers, both here in Davidson County and a couple surrounding counties. I know we have some friends from the Job Center this morning. We also help facilitate the Mayor's Opportunity Now Summer Youth Employment Program, as well as the Construction Readiness Partnership, and a few other different things here in town. And we are really excited about the opportunity that transit will bring, not only to bring a lot of jobs to town, but also help get workers connected to the jobs that are already here.
I'm Carol Earls. I'm with Nashville MTA. I am recruiter there, and so I'm very excited to be here and speak in front of all of you. We are definitely wanting to connect with the community and the different groups within the community. We're expanding, as you know. We're expanding right now, and we're really going to be expanding, May 1st. As I'm going to be affirmative here as the referendum passes. Just thank you so much for coming out, and thank you for including us.
My name's Terry Troop, and I'm a senior procurement officer here at Metro Government, and we basically purchase everything from toilet tissue all the way up to construction and transit things that are going to happen in ways of our infrastructure. So we look forward to participating and being part of this huge growth for the city.
My name is Jordal Watson. I work for procurement, also known as a division of Business Assistance Office. A lot of you all may know it as the BAO. We're really excited to have all of you all here. Please know that what we do is, and I didn't tell you that I'm the Business Development Officer. And so what I do is I work with businesses, small, minority, and woman-owned businesses, as well as the prime businesses, to help develop business capacity and to ensure that they have an opportunity by training, by networking, to work with primes. So our whole objective is to ensure that we have small, minority, and woman-owned businesses that are ready to go when you all, MTA, when Messer, when whomever, a large company wants businesses to subcontract with them.
So I think as I get ready to begin to kick the question off with Patrick, I think it's important that we highlight some of what we talk about the transit opportunities will be. We talk about 3,800 jobs potentially annually going in our community. Again, we talk about $5.4 billion worth of economic investment And that really goes to JaVale and the business development opportunity that we see, particularly around small or women and minority-owned companies in the city. This is an opportunity that we can expand and grow and build capacity with those businesses, and they have a direct impact on the workforce from hiring people locally within the community. So that cannot be understated as we talk about the opportunity that we have on May 1 as we go through this transit referendum. So I want to ask Patrick the first question. From your perspective at NCAC, why is transit important for Nashville's workforce needs?
Absolutely. So one thing that we encounter every day is right now in Nashville we have about a 2.7% unemployment rate. And a big reason why some of those people are still unemployed is because they can't get to the job opportunities that are out there. One of the biggest barriers that we face every day is transportation issues. And if you live in North Nashville, there may be a great opportunity out there at Gaylord Opryland for you, but you're gonna have to take 2 buses and it'll take you, an hour and a half just to get there. And so if you're working for $13 an hour, $14 an hour or less, it's really discouraging for you. Or, if you're living up in Madison and you want to go back to the community college, you want to do Reconnect, you want to advance your career, well, it's going to take you're going to have to go downtown to Music City Central, hop on another bus to get out there, and so you're going to have to go 2 hours each way. So that's not only time out of your day, but you might also have childcare issues, you might have other things that you have to take care of. And so the fact that we have a disjointed transit network currently, and the fact that it doesn't run 24/7, we're about to have 5,000 new hotel rooms downtown, which is a tremendous opportunity. If you work at a hotel, you work 24/7. But if you have to take the bus to get there, then you have to be home by 11. Or, you can't get there till 6 in the morning. And so these are big, big issues. And transit won't solve all of them, but being able to help remove or mitigate that barrier that people face every day can really help a lot of people, especially from neighborhoods and areas of town that are a little bit disconnected from the main employment centers, really get them reconnected in a way they haven't been able to do that before. So I think that's probably, other than just the jobs coming in and the jobs that will be created, and also from the transit-oriented development, but that's the biggest reason why, from my perspective, from the workforce perspective, transit's so essential to our community.
Terry, I'm going to skip to you and ask you a question. How does the procurement office support and promote Nashville's workforce, i.e. in workforce requirements and incentive packages, etc.?
Yeah, so what we do on the construction side of things is in regular invitation to bids, we basically encourage vendors to reach out to NCAC, and we provide them a link and all the information so they can find people to work for them. As part of a request for proposal, we actually want them to tell us how they're going to involve NCAC and that connection and bring in and promote workers. So it's not just a matter of, hey, we want you to do it. We want to know in detail how they're going to do it, and we're planning on holding people to that because we want to build that skilled labor back up that's kind of decreased over time.
So let me ask a quick question for our audience. How many individuals in here are familiar first with NCAC and have spent time there with Patrick and his staff? So maybe about 20, 25, 30%. Okay. How many individuals in here are familiar with Terry's office and the procurement opportunities around incentive packages? How many are familiar with her office?
Oh, wow.
1, 2, okay. That's good to know, and that's another reason why we wanted to get everyone in the room this morning as well, to start making those connections and start to really telling the story about what is happening around Nashville, and to connect you firsthand with those individuals to go back and service with the people that you work with on a regular basis, to let them know of these opportunities that are currently here now and that will only increase over time as we hopefully move forward on May 1 with the transit referendum.
Ashford, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
As far as procurement goes, can you talk just a brief second about the Do Better bill and how that impacts kind of procurement of services in town?
So again, I'm a big raise your hand question because I have a 5-year-old and I have to raise your hand. How many people are familiar with the Do Better bill that was just passed through Metro Council about 2 months ago? I know Jackie would be. So essentially, the Do Better bill was a bill that was passed by Councilmember Anthony Davis, an organization called Stand Up Nashville that is looking to make certain that when the city does give out incentive packages, that local people have access to good quality jobs and other community benefit opportunities. So working with the Stand Up, working with Anthony Davis, and working with our Office of Economic and Community Development, we feel like we have a bill that actually outlines when companies come in and receive incentives that they have to, one, show what type of quality jobs they will be having, what does that hourly rate look like, and what are the overall benefits to the community that these jobs bring to our city. I think this goes back 2 years when at first Mayor Berry was running for office and the community really wanted to see what was the benefits that they were getting in return for giving away or for allowing companies to come in and say they're going to do job grant opportunities. So this was a first step that we feel like is moving forward to show the community that when there are incentives that we are making a strong effort that the community has something in return, i.e. quality jobs, quality benefits that go along with those jobs, which is very, very important. I'm gonna go to Carol at MTA. There will be many jobs created through this transit initiative. Can you give us a short-term as well as a long-term look at what those opportunities may be?
Okay, sure can. We actually have opportunities now. We currently need 19 bus operators. With the expansion, we'll need even more. We currently need diesel mechanics, general helpers. We have some administrative positions open. I've been with MTA for over 3 years. I can tell you it is growing so quickly, which is great for me. But it also produces a lot of opportunities for the community and for those that are interested in a career in transit.
And one of the coolest things I just learned about what the MTA does is to be a bus operator at the MTA, you don't have to already have your CDL before they hire you. You just need to have your permit. You have to have good customer service skills, but they will train you. So they kind of lower that barrier for people where they kind of help you get the skills you need as long as you have at least the ability to get that permit, which shows you can get the license.
Exactly, and I think that sets us apart from other employers in the area in terms of transit positions or transportation positions. If someone has a good driving record, great customer service skills, because we feel like it's Nashville, and so we want our operators to portray a friendly, customer-centric personality, so friendly, smiling faces, individuals that are safe drivers, and those that have a good work history. So that you have that come in and have taken the written test. We hire you, then we'll train you for the CDL, and in some cases that's worth thousands of dollars, with the expectation, of course, that we want you to stay with us until you retire.
I'm gonna go to Jabal on this question, BAO. How does the Business Assistance Office support Nashville's businesses, one, and how does that help Nashville's workforce?
Well, first and foremost, mainly what we do is, as I've already stated, is that we work with businesses to build business capacity. In return, what that does is it builds them an opportunity to not only subcontract, but within time, as they build their business in that capacity, have the ability to operate in a prime aspect. Then it's a domino effect, more or less, and I'm sure you already know that once they build that capacity, they need more people to work for them. So we are, in turn, empowering them to empower you. We also need you. You help us by us sending our businesses to you. When they need workers, you can help direct them. When we have opportunities, we can send it through you and you can transfer it to them. So it's a revolving door. I think that we all need each other. It's necessary for us to be able to build the city as a whole. Once we empower those businesses, not only are they able to do business with the city, MTA, but other businesses. So we want to build their capacity to do business with us. We want to build their capacity to do business with everyone.
So I'm gonna go back to Carol for kind of a follow-up question. So we know when we talk about those 3,800 jobs coming online a year, we know that later this fall, if the referendum passes, we'll be able to get more buses on the road, which means we'll need more drivers, more technicians. How can this group in here today continue to help MTA recruit individuals in the community and get in different areas of the county?
Well, as a recruiter, I kind of look at it from a pipeline perspective. We need to keep our pipeline filled with great candidates because, we do lose some to retirement. There's a natural attrition rate. But so in my mind, there's what's called a low-hanging fruit. Those are the individuals who already have the CDL. They have maybe driving experience. They're important, obviously, but also those individuals that are looking at a career change, looking at something that they can support their families with, looking for a position that gets their foot in the door, that works into other positions, including management. And we can offer that at Nashville MTA in the bus operator position and the other positions. Right now, what you all could do for us is if you've got individuals that you work with that are at least 21, and have good driving records. They need to have at least a D driver's license and pass the 3 permits, and then send them my way because I'll interview them. People will tell you if I go into the MAPCO or to a convenience store and I see somebody with great customer service skills, I'll say, have you ever thought about being a driver? So, because you just never know. And I feel very lucky to be working for the agency, and so please send us your great people, and I've got business cards, so yes, please contact me.
I did want to recognize 2 people that I saw just walk in. I think they're still here in the back. Talia Lomax, who's the Budget and Finance Director, and then Michelle Lane, who is the Metro Procurement Director. I think I saw them just walk in. Oh. Okay. Patrick, second NCA question. In NCA, I'm glad to see a lot of faces here from NCAC, so I wouldn't leave here today without searching out one of them, as NCAC is our #1 workforce development entity in the city, and they are a vital partner with the mayor's office and have been since I came into working with the mayor. So this question for you, Patrick. Sounds like there's a lot of great opportunities coming down the pike, but could you tell us currently how NCAC is supporting career pathways and getting Nashvillians connected with quality jobs today?
Absolutely. So one of our bigger successes that we've had over the last couple of years is the Nashville Construction Readiness Partnership. This is something that came online about 1.5 years ago, kind of out of what Asher was talking about from the Do Better bill earlier about getting local people into jobs. So anyone that's been in Nashville for a day, you can see all the cranes around downtown, and so stuff's being built. You also knew that there's a lot of people in town that have never had access to those opportunities before, for a lot of different reasons, usually no fault of their own. A lot of times people didn't consider construction as a career for them. And so we created the Nashville Construction Readiness Partnership. And what this partnership does is, if you already are a skilled construction worker, you have either advanced certifications, you have experience, we can connect you directly to employers. If you've never worked in the industry before, have no idea what construction's all about, then we can get you training. We actually have some of our great partners here today in the room, Goodwill, Project Return, I see, who have been doing a fantastic job helping people who have never worked in these industries before get trained up, get basic skills, get safety certifications, so that they can begin their career pathway in construction. We've had so much success in this, we've actually begun to expand it into hospitality and healthcare. Again, 2 big sectors here in town where there's a tremendous need from employers. I have never met with a single employer in Nashville. I've been here about 1.5 years, a little less, that said, I have all the people I need, I don't need anybody, I'm fine. If anybody in here works with employers, is an employer, you know how hard it is to find people right now, and that's across the board. 81 people a day are moving here. Not a lot of them pour concrete, not a lot of them are plumbers, not a lot of them are nurses. So we need to help get these people built up and build up the community that's already here, because there's a lot of great people in town with a lot of great skills that just never had the opportunity, and so we're really working hard to give them the opportunity. And before I forget, Carol said something that made me think, if you're working with somebody who would love to be a bus driver, I've heard baristas make good bus drivers because you can deal with somebody yelling in your face about coffee. You can probably. But if Carol said you have to go get your 3 permits, you come see her, she'll help you get connected. If the cost of those permits is getting in the way of somebody, if they are unemployed, they're underemployed, they have barriers, they're low income, so you can send them over to us at the job center, and we, if they're eligible, which most people probably are, if they can help pay for those permits, then we can help get them connected to funding to help get those permits for them, and then they can go over and see Carol. So it's all about how we work together as a community, how there's a lot of resources out there. Let's not duplicate things because there's not that many resources out there. And also, before I forget, about the career readiness partnerships that we have. Some of my good friends and colleagues, John and Clay, are here today. They have a table set up in the back. So if you have any more questions, if you want any more information, definitely see them before you leave, and they can get you connected with everything that you need to get connected with.
So this is a question for Jabal again. As we know that small minority-owned businesses or small businesses are kind of like the backbone of Davidson County right now, what do you see as some of the barriers within the business community that kind of has been a hardship with them hiring more local people recently?
I think, I think you've heard a couple of times, is that finding the people right now with the unemployment rate being so low, that's a difficulty. Number 2, for those workers to know how to get a hold of those business owners and what their needs are. A lot of times small businesses don't have the income to basically let people know that they have opportunities. They may do it in a way, but it's not widespread. So if you have a worker out there that doesn't know there's an opportunity, then they don't know to go and look for that opportunity, as well as transportation and things of that nature. So like we've said so many times today, it is a domino effect. We all have to work together. I think if those small business owners have the opportunity to work with you all, as well as benefit from the programs and opportunities that you have, as well as the workers, then there's a connector there that allows the workers to know where there's opportunities and allows the employers to know where the workers are. So I think it's important, like we've stated, to make sure that we interface with each other and communicate with each other so that that information gets to everyone, all parties involved.
Terry, question for you. How do we better integrate communication where the individuals that are here today know more about some of the requirements and incentive packages that you administer within your department?
Well, if you're not registered within our system, I would encourage you to get registered, and you can contact me, and I have my cards, and I'll be happy to get in touch with you or take one of your cards. So knowing the opportunities that are out there is really important. Coming to the pre-offer meetings and networking is also important. You may not plan to bid on our job, but you're building you're networking and building a relationship with someone that is there that you may use on something else. So just because there's a pre-offer meeting on something that you like, there's no way I'm gonna do it, that has nothing to do with transit or anything, I would still encourage you to come, because you're still building that relationship that you may use as part of anything else that is either metro related or just city related or anywhere else. You're still building that relationship. So just because there's one opportunity out there that you see, again, I would take advantage and come and be a part of it and build that relationship with someone. That way you may be able to provide a service or provide an individual to them that may help set them off.
Ashford, if I may piggyback on that, because Terry made a wonderful point. It's really good for you all as organization representatives to attend our outreach events. Because when we hold an outreach event, it's typically for a major solicitation that we have, which there are lots of opportunities within that solicitation. But what that does is empower you to be able to go back and share information with your workers, because there'll be companies there that will have opportunities or will know of opportunities that are coming down the pike, and then it gives you the opportunity to prime your workers up and say, hey, listen, you need to reach out with this company, and this company, because in the next few months, there's gonna be some opportunities available, and you can go ahead and get in that working pathway and be ready to roll when they need you. So it's really good for you all to be in the loop and be registered, as Terry said, because what that does is it lets you know when there's things taking place. And we try to do a wonderful job of ensuring that information is shared and disseminated to all of our business resource organizations. So if you're not registered with Metro, once you get registered with Metro, you also need to register with the Business Assistance Office, because then that allows us to know, hey, let's make sure we send an email directly to you. So, and I'll just use the CJC because that's a large project we have out there right now. When the CJC has outreach events, then we say, hey, we've got an outreach event and we're working on these commodities and industries, why don't you be there? Because then you're empowered with the knowledge, and that ability allows you to say, okay, we need to get workers in this area, this area, and this area, to prime them up to be ready to work on that job. So again, we're right back to that circular type event where we're all working together and we're pushing forward the city as a whole.
So I quickly wanted to talk about Promise Zone designation. Again, is anyone here familiar with the HUD Promise Zone designation that Nashville has had over the last 2 years? Okay, a short amount. So let me give you a brief indication of what that is. So 2 years ago, Nashville received a HUD designation as a Promise Zone community. What this is, we have 6 core areas around the city that has high unemployment, low education attainment, and various other barriers for those living in the community. What we've established under then Mayor Barry and now Mayor Briley has agreed to move forward with as well is that we want to work within these core areas to have a certain number of apprenticeship programs to be able to utilize in the construction industry. We've also been trying to work with other providers to make certain that we are using our Promise Zones as first source hiring areas, that we want to make certain that we're getting with those individuals in the churches and other community outreach organizations to really hone in on creating more education opportunities in these Promise Zone areas and more workforce development opportunities in these Promise Zone areas. We know that in construction and even with Ms. Kirkland's organization and Project Return, that some of the barriers that some opportunities or some career opportunities may not afford you within the building trades, within Project Return, they are a little bit, I wouldn't say lenient, may not be the right word, but there are certain positions that you can get in with certain barriers onto your record. And we know that's really important, as our previous mayor and our new mayor now is talking about how do we make certain that we find job opportunities for those individuals that are coming out of the prison system right now. We know that contributes to a lot of the unemployment, the underhoused in our community, and that is something that we're trying to work with right now. So I really would implore everybody to find out more about the Promise Zones. Your organization may be within a Promise Zone right now and you not know it, and there could be points and opportunities to win grant dollars along the lines of workforce development that you may be missing out on. So I would implore you to really hone in with the mayor's office around what that looks like and getting involved in that. I want to come back to MTA again before I open up the lines of questioning for the audience here today. So with the potential opportunity that we have of building a world-class transit system moving forward. I just lost my thought. With moving forward on that, what type of partnerships can the mayor's office help you with as we try to make certain that people know of the job opportunities, the workforce opportunities? What can we do to be a better partner in getting the word out for MTA?
Well, Ashford, I think opportunities like today, being able to put our message out in front of groups and individuals such as yourself, it's all about connection. I kind of see myself as not so much a liaison, but a connector of people that need jobs. We need the talent. So the more that we get our message out in front of groups and individuals, then we're going to have a better turnout in terms of candidates. And that's really what it's about, is trying to leave no stone unturned, looking at certain segments of the population. You mentioned those with prior records. We look at each case separately, and we go back 7 years, but I always say I'll consider, any candidate that comes through, I'm going to look at that one. And I mean that sincerely, because we as a society, we owe it to build everyone up, because that supports the entire community. So when there are those that need a helping hand or a step up, it only benefits all of us if we help them with that. And also we have found that employees that come with us that may come through a group or something, they're some of the best employees. So it's a great win-win for us.
So I did at this time want to open it up to questions. I know that we've expressed the conversation around transit, which is immediate and it's important. There will be thousands of jobs, but we also recognize there are still other opportunities that will be taking place in the meantime as well. We continue to have a conversation around soccer. There continues to be other projects that are coming down just on a regular basis. And even though those are metro projects, we also recognize there are also private development projects as well that we need to continue to be building up our workforce as we move forward. We know that right now, I know Patrick has the specific numbers, but in some industries we have 5,000 or 10,000 open positions available for folks to come in if we can help them find an education track to get that certification to be able to qualify for those job opportunities. So a question that I want to send out, the first question, and then if you have others on your own, please come up to the mic right there. I'll turn it around for you. What are better ways from your organization's perspective that either the mayor's office, NCAC specifically, and I don't want to put all the pressure on Patrick and NCAC, they are key partners, the MTA, procurement, BAO, what are better ways that we can connect with the individuals that you represent with your organizations on a regular basis so we have better communication and we can continue to grow that workforce pipeline in our city?
Good morning, everybody. I represent an organization in Clarksville, and we train individuals and certify them to operate heavy equipment and cranes. So with all the building that you have going on, all the infrastructure that's going on, I feel like a lot of my students could benefit from this. I do have students that live in the Nashville area that are looking for employment. They are nationally certified to operate bulldozers, backhoes, excavators. Again, we offer 2 different types of cranes, loaders. So from the basic pieces of equipment up to the larger pieces of equipment, these guys have come through. The training is really short. We offer a 3-week training to be certified on 2 or 3 pieces of equipment, and we offer a 6-week training to be certified on the larger pieces like the bulldozer, excavator. We also offer a 3-week training for crane. This will get them nationally certified to operate not your tower cranes that you see around the city, but the smaller hydraulic cranes and lattice boom cranes. I just feel like with what we have to offer, it kind of goes hand in hand, and I would love to connect with some of you to find out what I need to do to get these guys in on these opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely before you leave, we have the table set up in the back here. Like John McClellan and Clay Flaircall are my colleagues that help run the Construction Readiness Partnership. Connect with them because I guarantee you that there's jobs in town for your graduates. And then also, just a quick plug for my friends up at the Clarksville Job Center up there. If you're not already working with them, work with them because they can help get you candidates in there as well. And also, if there's any candidates living in Davidson County that want to travel up to Clarksville, we can help out with that as well.
And even if they want to travel, we do offer them housing. So if you have someone that lives here in Davidson County and they don't have transportation back and forth, what we do is provide them with housing for the time that they're there. So if they're there 3 weeks, we give them housing for 3 weeks. Doesn't cost them anything extra for the housing.
That's great.
That's something that
That's
we provide.
fantastic.
I have a question for you. Because I've never heard of that program, which just sounds like an awesome program. But how do you get that information out to people to know that that program is available?
Well, we're new to the area. We actually have 8 different schools throughout the United States. And we just moved to the Clarksville area, getting on paperwork and red tape squared away. But offered our first class this year.
That's great.
We had a couple of classes last year, but this year has really been the year that we kind of opened up and started to do things like that. So,
Give yourself a plug real quick. What's the name of your organization?
Heavy Equipment Colleges of America.
All right.
Definitely, I would definitely reach out to like the major construction companies and even the smaller ones because I'm sure they're looking for a workforce and that provides them with the opportunity of knowing they already have the certification. So definitely plug your organization's name. That's important.
I think that you're offering a great service. As many of you know, the schools are not offering vocational training as they did in the day, and nationwide there's a shortage of skilled labor. So having that opportunity for someone to go in and learn a skill, I think is great, plus the offering to help with housing and stuff. So
Well, a lot of the young people that come through, we have a lot of high school students. Like my May class is already full because I have a lot of kids that are coming out of high school. They don't want to go to college. They want to do something different, and they've signed up to do it. Their friends will be going off to college in August, and they'll be finished and working. And the average pay for a student that does 3 weeks is about $18 an hour. And we do offer lifetime job placement assistance. So if they come through the school, say they work for a company, that project ends, and they want something else, they can always contact the school. And we're connected with different organizations throughout the United States and the local areas.
I have one more question.
Sure.
Sorry. Cost for housing and
There's no cost for the housing. The tuition is $9,700. We do offer different scholarships. I am currently working with Montgomery County to try to get on the APTL list. And of course, our other locations, what they've done with the WIO offices and things of that nature, whatever the cap is for WIOA, that is what we charge for tuition, and then we scholarship out the rest of it for them. There are also other grants available for, say somebody has worked on a farm for the last 20 years, and that has, the industry's gone down and they're looking for something or change. There are farm grants out here through the Tennessee Opportunities Program, and actually Kentucky offers one as well for farmers, and they pay the tuition for them.
Anybody else questions or want to address how do we better connect with your organization and those that you represent?
Yes, good morning. My name is James Harper. I'm with Hensel Phelps Construction Company. So we're relatively new to town. If you guys have not heard of Hensel Phelps, we have B&A Vision's project number 1, the expansion of Concourse D, a $200 million project, and then also the U.S. Federal Courthouse project downtown Nashville. So my title is Manager of Supply Diversity, so my job is to meet the economic inclusion, small business requirements, and also local workforce requirements. So for the airport project, that's SWMBE requirements with MNAA, as well as promise zone requirements. And then of course on the federal courthouse project, there are federal requirements there. So for someone like myself and a company like Hensel Phelps, if there was like some type of listing of all the different resources that are available, the construction readiness program, Stand Up Nashville, Goodwill, whatever programs they have going on, Project Return, then in the effort to try to meet the requirements on the job and exceed them, if there was something like the Do Better bill that says, hey, you have to have the transparency here that says here's what the opportunities are, and then we have like a listing of the pipeline of what exists and what can match up to specific jobs, that would extremely help. I know some of that stuff probably already exists, and maybe it's just a matter of just putting it all together, but something like that would really help the efforts to set up the jobs, communicate as soon as possible when the opportunities present themselves, and maybe infuse that pipeline with people into those particular programs for those jobs that are coming online.
Patrick, good.
Everybody, but what I would like to say about our city is that the business resource organizations here work really well together. And so even though there may not be a list to provide to you directly, that once you communicate with one of us, typically we share with one another. There are several people in the room that I know that we work really well together. And I think about when I was at Business Taking Off, and if memory serves me properly, I think Angela Crane Jones from the Nashville Business Incubation Center said, "Hey, do you know this gentleman?" And she was talking about you at that time. And and she was saying there's some opportunity, but it's wonderful because there are so many things taking place and we do connect on so many different levels. It allows us the opportunity to share it. Now, I can't tell you specifically that there's one collective list that has everybody, because there's so many opportunities and resources. But what I will say is that if you at least connect with the couple, then typically that information is disseminated through most of the powers that be.
And so far so good. So we've been reaching out to all the sub-zone capitals of the promise zones, meeting with folks like Stand Up Nashville, we meet with you guys as well. But yeah, the information is there. It's just maybe for some, so Hensel Phelps has a person, James Harper, manages collaboration to do that. Maybe other firms don't have those resources in place, or maybe they hire a consultant or something like that. But it's just something to kind of make it a little easier. But for me, I'm enjoying the process of learning everything.
Yeah, and with construction readiness, we try to be that central hub for you, where if you let us know what your needs are and what your opportunities are, then we have MOUs with something like 35 or 40 organizations where we can get that word out. We could host recruitment fairs for you to try to bring in those people in the promise zones. We've been working with Skanska on the 5th and Broadway project for about 8 months now. And to date, it's about 83% of people that have worked on that project are Davidson County residents. I'm not sure off the top of my head how many from the promise zone, but we've done a really good job of helping them make sure they're getting connected with people. And obviously in construction, we know that there might not be, 30 tower crane operators in Davidson County. We've been helping I can't remember the name of the organization right now, building the wave pool park out at Opryland. And obviously they have some very specialized positions, but if there's people in town, we will try to help find them for you.
And just FYI, so both of those projects are just getting started. So as far as communicating, so both those projects are just getting started. So as far as communicating the opportunities on the project, that is forthcoming. So we have a great opportunity to make this all work and get participation in the projects.
Awesome.
What I would like to suggest to you and others is that even though those particular projects are not directly related or back to the city of Nashville, you still reach out to us, because
Absolutely.
then what we do is share. I mean, we want our suppliers to know, and as we always say, we ask our suppliers to work with one another as well as, but I don't want to just, or we don't want to just say, hey, only Metro business. Yes, we want them working on Metro projects, but we want them building business capacity
That's how they
regardless.
grow.
Exactly.
That's how
So
they build capacity.
I'm really glad to hear you say that, because what that does in return is say, hey, Jerval, talk to your Collaboration for Excellence partners so that we can make sure we disseminate that information and touch bases back with you. Say, hey, when you have an outreach event, what do you got going on? Because then that allows us to work with Patrick and everybody that we've got here in this room. I mean, like right now, I am biting at the bit to take a picture of this group, because what it says is, so that we can disseminate it on Twitter and say, hey, look at all the people that are concerned and excited about building Nashville as a community, and not just the major business owners or the small businesses, but the individual that's walking to work tomorrow. So we appreciate that. Like,
Yeah, and the
definitely.
responsibility for us is the transparency and the early communication. That's what we need to do. So, all right.
Any other specific questions before I throw out one or two more? So, yeah.
I just want to make a quick announcement on April 21st. My name is Michael. I'm from Stand Up Nashville and the Central Labor Council. On April 21st, we're going to be holding kind of a jobs fair at the Napier Community Center with NCAC. It's going to be from 10 to 2, and this jobs fair is just really going to be focused on bringing in the trades, apprenticeships, and all the kind of groups that want to really create good jobs and a good pipeline for folks. and it's going to be focused on outreach to the Promise Zone people. So April 21st, I'll be sitting over here if you want to come talk to me about it afterwards. We'd love to have you.
And you said the name of your community center?
Yeah, from 10 to 2. April 21st.
Is there a registration?
It'll be all up on Stand Up Nashville's website or Facebook.
My question is about, so we recognize the investment in infrastructure and the growth of the city, but what, from the perspective of the mayor's office and some of your other organizations, what are opportunities that exist to invest in, so kind of back to the statement that James made, into the processes. So you mentioned that right now there isn't a platform that connects the service providers or work readiness programs with people or organizations. What's the city's perspective on in making investments in some of those resources?
So one is we have a small business director and creatives director, Audra Ladd. She's been working on a portal to kind of put all the service providers into one area, so you can then go and just look on yourself to know, go to the mayor's office, small business, to be able to find who's certifying, who's doing 5 other things, who's going to help with workforce. I think that's really close to launching now. I know it's been a year and a half in the process, but that is close to launching. That's one portal. Over the last, let's say 6 to 8 months, our office at ECD has done a much better job of really connecting on a regular basis with the procurement department, with the business assistance office, to really mapping out how do we create a better stream of flow amongst ourselves. Because if we're not coordinated amongst ourselves, it's kind of hard for you to then expect coordination. So we've been working to really establish, hey, the mayor's office is kind of like the political wheel, the policy directive. BAO is doing the work. They're the ones that's implementing the programs, doing a lot of the community outreach, and then procurement is that third leg. We've been really, and now that we have a new mayor, we've essentially, the word I like to use is done a reset on some of the processes that we've started, and really taking to him to say, look, we were in the process of doing that, but I think now is the time with this reset that we can start to implement. And I think once we start to implement it, and I will say something over the next couple of months, you'll see some of those implementations around processes moving forward to kind of help small business streamlining. We really, Patrick and I have worked over the last year of trying to find potential funding to help NCAC to be able to go into local community centers, at least on a 2 or 3 day basis a week, to really connect with folks in the Antioch area, in Madison area, to be more connected. So I think we've had those conversations, and now it's just time we've taken them from thought, from theory, to now putting them into implementation. And we hope to have some of that come to fruition over the next few months or so.
Yeah, and another thing we've talked about is how do we kind of bring the partnership back into our career partnership programs and really create these industry partnerships where we're bringing together employers and training providers and the community to foster a discussion where everyone's at the table together about what do employers need and how do we help create the workforce for those employers, and really do it in a much more thoughtful way.
What's kind of the pulse, or how do you feel about the quality or the supply of work readiness training for all of these different areas? So we recognize there's a huge demand for a lot of the positions that you've discussed, but there's training that's necessary, maybe even before you get to the specialized training for the actual position. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like we have the organizations in place now to properly prepare the people in that pipeline that we're feeding into these specialized roles?
I'd say we do. We have some really tremendous organizations that are helping to create that pipeline, especially those people getting on that first rung of the career pathway. The issue is just the capacity. We just don't have enough capacity for the need. And if you're looking at what's going on over at the airports, what's going on downtown, soccer stadium, and then transit, there's such a tremendous need for employees that we're having trouble finding enough people in town to go into those things. So that's really where the issue is. There's tremendous organizations that can do the training and help get people prepared, but the capacity for funding those organizations and finding the people for them is really where the rubber's hitting the road at the moment.
And I think from the mayor's office perspective, we've been trying to work with companies that come in and do receive job grants in order to have them to utilize and pay for the training, the specified training that they want to do. We've worked with one Phillips Corporation that is working with the Urban League to work with them to help, fund their training program around getting folks into that career opportunity. So we're looking at different ways, again, through the incentives and like the Do Better bill to really kind of put the onus also on the companies that are coming here to be good stewards of community money as well.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm Gina with the Holiday Inn Vanderbilt, and I know that all of y'all are talking about the future, but what I want to talk about is today and ask for Claire and I being in the hospitality industry that you mentioned earlier, because I've probably hired everybody's organization here, some people, because I know them all and they help me greatly. But just like with Goodwill having a program, they started a program and had a very low turnout. I had a job fair. I did it on a Saturday, hoping people would come. Free food. I had 4 people. And so I'm looking at why the bus doesn't go after 11 right now when my restaurant closes. They can't just leave right when the bus stops, or if they need to get there at 5. How are they going to get there now? And not, in 5 years.
If I may say something, we definitely, as an agency, are looking at the needs of the business owners in the community. And we're expanding our services. Currently, the last bus pulls back in around 12:45, and that's pushing out. I see us going eventually to a 24/7. I don't know when that's going to be, but we definitely are taking strides to expand our services, and that's a lot of what drives our need for talent. And so it's not just in the future. You're absolutely right. It's here, it's now. And I feel it. I feel the pain as you do in the hospitality industry. So just the faster that we can connect and get the word out to people, and that's one of the reasons why you all come to events like this. And from MTA perspective, I go out and speak and would be available to speak in front of groups. I've gone to driving schools. I've gone to diesel auto colleges. You actually have to get out on the streets to do the work. You can't wait for people to walk in your office.
Yeah, and that's why they all know me, but we even pay for the bus pass. So, if people don't have a way to get to work, that's not an excuse for my location, unless they're in those areas that they can't get to the bus stop, right? Because they're just in this little area.
Absolutely.
So I think that's also the positive effect of what we see potentially with the plan is not only the rail, but more frequent bus service in 10 of the highest frequented corridors, but also transit hubs and better bus stops. Like right now, I don't ride the bus because I don't want to walk at 6 in the morning, 2 miles to get to the bus stop, right? I would have to get up even earlier to walk there, and it's a whole process. But with what is in the plan right now, the In Motion plan, the Nashville Next plan, which has been a 4-year community outreach process to really see what the community wanted, a lot of that has been addressed because people know that people are not going to just give up cars to go to an even worse situation. Mm-hmm. So that's why the plan has mapped out frequent service along the 10 most frequented corridors, which would happen, I believe, later on this fall, if I'm not mistaken. Once we have to get more bus drivers to make that happen, we can't just have people working the 3 or 4 shifts, but we feel like some of that has been addressed, especially when it comes to MDHA and our housing authority, making certain that we have more frequent service in those areas to help you, because we know that your industry is another industry that has a shortage of workers right now.
Bring on the business, but you're killing us. Because I live in Lebanon, I would love to ride the train and sleep on the way there and on the way home, but I can't get there at 5:30 any day to get there.
With you. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Understood.
Do you have to go, Terry?
Yes. She's got my business card. My name is Jackie Shrego with Monroe Harding, which is a nonprofit organization that works with foster kids that have been in foster care. we have a lot of young people who don't feel they're ready for a readiness program. And yet, I suspect from listening a little bit this morning, they might be. So our organization isn't large enough to have a workforce development staff person, so I'm coming here as a volunteer. But I think there's this big chunk of folk, young folk, who are 18 to 24, who have many cases no skills. Sometimes they have a GED or high step program completion. Many times they don't. Have you got thoughts about how to say to my organization how to connect to this process?
Sure. I mean, thank you, one, for the work you do. It's tremendous and very, very hard. And we're trying to do a better job of connecting with your organization like yours. If we can get these young people, while we still have them, while we're still connected to them, it makes all the difference in the world. Part of what we do at NCAC, we also operate programs for out-of-school, out-of-work youth. So this is young people that are not currently in school between the ages of 16 and 24, who are not working and not in school. Do you know how hard it is to find these young people to try to provide services to them? Once we lose a handle on them, it is so hard to get them back. And so what we need to do as a city is connect with organizations like Monroe Harding, who are still working with these young people who, and they might not think they're ready, but I bet you they're ready, and get them connected with a Goodwill or a Project Return, and help them get those basic skills and get them on a career pathway. And if we can get them an industry recognized credential before they leave you, then this sets them up. They have the ability to earn for the rest of their life, and they get them on, whether it's construction or hospitality or healthcare or the myriad other opportunities here in town. At least they always have the ability to earn for themselves, which they haven't had before. And if we can do that, then we're really getting ahead for these young people. So make sure, I'll give you my card afterwards, and but we'll work on how, through my partners in the career readiness partnerships and also at the career centers, how we can get a hold of your young people before we lose them. Also, plug for Opportunity Now. Mayor Briley would not be happy with me if I didn't talk about Opportunity Now. Again, Nashville's preeminent youth employment program, as well as our preeminent public-private partnership, where there's a portal right now you can go to on.nashville.gov. Any young person living in Davidson County between the ages of 14, 24 can create a profile. One of the cool things about Opportunity Now is that through the website, there's geolocating for job opportunities. So you put in your address and you can see jobs near where you live. Because we all need transit, even if when it passes May 1st, we're not going to have tracks in the ground on May 1st. So we need to help people out right now. So young people can find jobs in their area to make it much easier for them to be able to get to work. So yeah, so anyone in here that knows a young person, tell them to go get connected to Opportunity Now. Right now we have about 16,000 young people currently engaging on the portal. But last year we had 11,000 job opportunities. We didn't fill them all. We can fill them all this year. But definitely get your kids connected.
And if I may also add, in the workforce, as the baby boomers retire, I'm sure everybody, and many of you are millennials in the room, Generation X as well, we need those younger folks coming up, because the millennials are going to make up, I believe in the next, 3 years, like 50% of the workforce. So as the older employees age out or retire, then we're going to be left with the shortage. We have to learn how to engage these people, and maybe early on. Maybe that's not waiting until they are pondering what they're going to do with their life, because not everybody needs to go and do 4 years of college. You can have a great career doing a technical skill or a trade, or some of our bus operators do very, very well. So absolutely, just getting the word out there. But that's a target demographic. the youth is very important, and age, because we don't have an age limit on our drivers. So, but definitely I would say that millennial workforce is one that we're keen on reaching.
Good morning, my name is Tamara and I'm with Centerstone Career Connect, and I want to take the opportunity to express to you that we work particularly with 18 to 24-year-old adults in the middle Nashville area that many times are often offenders. Now that can be anything as simple as a truancy. So for those that may be in extended foster care who have had some touch point with the criminal justice center that have need for job readiness training, we specialize in that. We also partner with a lot of you individuals that are in the room here as far as staying connected for the employability piece as well so as the educational component. So feel free to partner with my colleague over here, Chris. She is our intake coordinator and she will be your go-to person for getting them connected. I would also like to say to the rest of you in the room, if you haven't started accessing any of the job fairs in the community, that is a really great way to network and to get connected with other individuals that you can partner with to figure out how to have that conduit to those access points. So thank you.
Just have a quick question about the portal you talked about.
Sure.
Do you have that, is that available through mobile devices, smartphones?
Absolutely. Yep.
Hi, my name is Karen Castro, and I have my own business, and I help small businesses owner with their administrative assistance. But also I help like other organizations, and I was wondering how can we work together. I have a lot of programs that you can need to reach out the Hispanic community. And I can give you my contact info.
That would be awesome if you.
Okay, and also I was wondering what programs or what help can you guys give for those newcomers? For instance, people coming from Venezuela, they all professionals, but they're here and they come here and to start like working in jobs that they don't know how to do it. So I don't know how you guys can guide me or give me some resources for them, for me to help them out to find jobs, like professional jobs.
I'm gonna put her on the spot, but I'm gonna ask my colleague Vanessa Lezon to raise her hand. He's in the mayor's office of New Americans,
Yeah.
and we have been kind of working on how do we better engage the Latino community, another new immigrant community, especially around workforce development needs in the city. I know we still have been working also with Councilman Fabian Bedney to try to piece things together and to have more functions like this in Spanish and in potential other languages as well as we send information out. But I definitely think you, I, and Vanessa can connect and really try to piece that together. And I know NCAC, again, plug for NCAC, is kind of working with us on that as well. But definitely get Vanessa's contact and we'll make a reach out to you.
Yeah, and it hasn't launched yet, but we're working with Terry, who had to leave, and the procurement office. There's currently procurement. It's either out on the street now or will be out on the street for construction and hospitality training in Spanish. So for Spanish language speakers, employers told us we have a need. If they speak Spanish, we can take them on. So getting them that training, so then they have those industry recognized credentials as well to help them kind of be in a formal workforce. That way they can work for a good employer, not somebody who can take advantage of them, because we all know wage theft is still a big issue in town, as it is across the country, to really help them get that education that they need.
And we're also, in the mayor's office specifically, are trying to work better with our ethnic chambers around minority business development. So our LGBT chamber, Tennessee Latin American chamber, Hispanic chamber, and the Black chamber, trying to work with everybody better so that we can help those businesses build capacity moving forward. So I know JaVale will be another person that will be most helpful.
And I was going to plug one of our partners, which is the Tennessee Latin American Chamber. They have the AYA program and a couple of the Futuro program. And it's one other one that works with business resource organizations. So do not miss that opportunity. But yes, definitely connect with me and we'll make sure that you get to the people that you need, because we need you as well.
And if I may say something, we're work really hard to make sure that we're reaching out into the community and recruiting diversity. And we definitely have a need to hire more Hispanic employees that can speak, that are bilingual. But just overall diversity, that's something that we work hard on. So I encourage anyone who's involved in that to let me know.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Sherry Huey. I am with TDLC Community Supervision. And as we all know, there's people who are being released to the community either on parole or on probation weekly. What I do is go out into the community and partner with employers who are willing to give our people a second chance at employment. So my question is, how does it look for people with a background who are needing a second chance at these new job opportunities?
Absolutely. I mean, we see that barrier all the time. It holds people back, unfortunately. A lot of employers have become more aware of the great workforce that is out there, of people who have been formally acquainted with the criminal justice system. Not as many employers are, but we partner with great organizations, so you do as well. Project Return is a tremendous organization here in town. I'm probably going to butcher it. I think it's called Pro-E, their transitional employment program, which is a really fantastic thing. They take the risk. They pay the employees. They get them onto the job site and kind of let an employer try somebody out without any of the risk about losing any of the wages. They provide wraparound services. And then a lot of times those employers continue to hire those people on afterwards. So, I mean, it's something we work on every day, because that's another thing. And one of the great opportunities that we all have right now is employers need us more than they ever had before. And that's because, like you were saying with the holiday, and you had a job fair on Saturday, 4 people attended. With a 2.7% unemployment rate, there's a lot of employers that have had to look in places they haven't looked at before. In Rutherford County, we're working with the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office to get people connected to manufacturing jobs. They're getting manufacturing training before they're released, and then they're getting picked up by Nissan and Kasai and a few other ones. Whereas 2 years ago, these employers would say, we're not hiring anybody with a background. It doesn't matter if you were arrested 30 years ago. Now they're saying we will work people that are currently incarcerated and get them trained. So that's the opportunity we have as a community to educate employers right now about how great the workforce is out there for people they haven't looked at in the past, so that when the economy does flip, because it'll eventually flip, these things are cyclical, that employers still say, well, it's worked for us before and will continue to work for us.
It truly is the most underutilized workforce that we have. And many of the parolees who come out into the community, they have those skills. They have HVAC, they have masonry, they have food service and landscaping. Today I have 2 employers here who would be happy to speak on how it was a win-win for both. Those people needed a second chance, and for them as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tennessee Prison Outreach Ministry has been another partner in the mayor's office of, being engaged in job opportunities and workforce opportunities as well. So that's something that we've been, again, another one of these programs or processes we've been working on for a while now. So I think it's got to move forward on something to help the situation out.
And I think there's several out there. You just have to get plugged in. You have Men of Valor. You have Project, 413. There's several out there. Again, a lot of times it's a matter of getting to a lot of the community networking events to rub elbows with those people who literally are in the trenches, because you may not find them in a forum like this, but you will typically find them at the TDLC sites when there are job fairs and career fairs going on. You will find them at the networking events 5 to 7 p.m. A lot of times you just have to get in the trenches and connect.
And this is what we had planned to do anyway after this event, was to kind of connect with you all again through a follow-up email. First and foremost, give you everybody's information that was on this panel to be able to contact them, but hopefully to have more, just impromptu sessions like this where you can come and get that cross-connectivity and networking so you can make that. I think if nothing else, the mayor's office needs to be seen as a resource in helping bring people together and convene different groups together in order to help out workforce development, actual business development as well. So under the guise of the new mayor, we're moving forward with that process.
Hi, Asher. Thank you, Mr. Hughes. I'd like to add to all the talk, if you don't mind, I'm talking to you guys.
This is Clay works where he works at NCAC, by the way.
I work for this gentleman right here. But so I wanted to share a couple of things. There's been some questions about networking and coming together, and most of y'all in the room know me because we have networked. We have worked together under the auspices of the Nashville Workforce Network. If you haven't had a chance to join the Nashville Workforce Network, that's a collaborative of workforce development agencies and or people that, employers that need to hire people, community access points and community access centers throughout the city that have access to the people that need the most help. So we have, when we started the Nashville Construction Readiness Partnership, we found that we were out in the community connecting people and resources, and so we came up with this collaborative, the Nashville Workforce Network. We have a newsletter that comes out every 2 weeks that you can send information in about your job fairs and information about opportunities for workforce development. We, last year, we did a big quarterly event. We've got one planned for June this year, but last year in November, we did one around the benefits of hiring reentry populations, the challenges that some people might face, employers. And then we also included in that program the immigrant population, the new American population, and what are the benefits and challenges that we sometimes face when hiring and developing that workforce as well. We are working with the Hispanic Family Foundation to grow our training and opportunities in construction, healthcare. Healthcare also, besides hospitality, our healthcare provider, NATS, is looking to start a class in Spanish. And so we're growing and reaching more people. The Nashville Workforce Network, to address the certifications that you brought up earlier. In construction, we use a nationally recognized certification that's across the country recognized, the NCCER. The Association of Builders and Contractors here in Nashville also does that training as well. So we did some exploration, looked around and see who offered what training and what was the best, and that's what we found for construction. And our 3 partners that offer that do a great job. We also, through the hospitality piece with Goodwill and Project Return, those certifications come through the American Hotel and Lodging Institute. So there is a certification for that. And then with our healthcare piece that we're doing through this Nashville Career Readiness Partnership, it is a state-recognized license that you get when you finish the CNA training there. So just to address some of the questions that have come up. And please join the Nashville Workforce Network. There'll be cards at the table for you to grab on your way out. So if you're not already a partner, we'd love for you to be a part of that. Thank you.
Thanks, Clay.
Ashford, if I may, I know you said that you were going to share our information, but if everyone in here is okay with it, I think it would be great for us to share the contact information of everyone that attended. So, because there's so many different people in this room that, or a lot of us know each other, but there are a few people in the room that we don't know. So that when that email goes out, that maybe we can attach the sign-in sheet so that everybody has an opportunity to connect with the people in this room. I know there are other people outside of this room, but there is a number of opportunities here for us to keep that pipeline, like we said, as clean as possible and fluid.
Yes, ma'am. Was there anyone else that had questions, bring something to the table? Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I'm really nervous because I'm not a public speaker person, but I actually am an employer. I am the HR coordinator for Nashville Wire, and Joe works for Centurion Stone, and him and I have worked very hard with Miss Huey in trying to get offenders back in the community. And I just wanted to let everybody know that, you know, it is a wonderful opportunity. I think we all have a stereotype in our head that they murdered somebody or they did this. You can probably find an offender that will fit anybody's background if you just connect. They are reliable because they have to be. A lot of their requirement is that they have to be holding a job. We do, the 3 of us do a job readiness program and teach them what's expected. And a lot of them come to work for me so they know that I just taught you how to keep a job and get a job. So if you're working for me, you better be there. As well, they don't, some of them have been incarcerated for so long that, they're behind the times. So cell phones aren't a big deal, okay? All the stuff that kids these days, we've hired millennials. They are a difficult group. This group is really got great work ethic and great loyalty. They're very thankful for the opportunities. As well, when you hire them, they don't have as many opportunities. So they're very loyal to you because they know that those opportunities don't come as frequently as they would for any of us in this room. So I would encourage everybody to, regardless of what your background requirements are, take a look at that. And, they are very skilled. We use a program at my work that I don't even want to try. My boss can barely manage through it. However, I have got girls from the work release program that I started with the prison that can run circles around my boss with this program because they've used it before. And it blows us away the skill set that they have. And it is really a missed opportunity because we are judgmental and we do assume that, there are some lighter offenders and harder offenders. That opportunity is there to fill those positions. So I just hope everybody can kind of keep an open mind and look at that underutilized workforce right there. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I do my going once, going twice. But again, want to thank everyone for coming out this morning. You will receive a follow-up email within the next week to have the information to spread out, more information about job opportunities coming down. I do want to thank Clay for giving that plug for the Nashville Workforce Network, which is another good network of other businesses and companies to get engaged in. And as we continue to get in contact with you about the Mayor's Office portal, the Opportunity Now portal, MTA's portal, BAO has a portal. I'm sure everybody gets a portal.
Can you plug Twitter, please? Our Twitter account.
Go ahead.
And shameless plug, but not really shameless because it's important. I don't know what organizations here use Twitter, but I know that the Mayor's Office, BAO, NCAC, a lot of the business resource organizations utilize Twitter to disseminate information about networking opportunities and outreach events and those natures. So if you're not following BAO, please follow us at Metro BAO. Ashford, what is it?
Well, mine is Ashford.
Not yours.
Okay. It's Nashville _ECD.
Yeah. Patrick, y'all have one too, don't you?
Yeah, I think we're just Nashville Career Advancement Center.
Yeah, so if
I don't do the Twitter.
And most of us follow each other, so if you get one of us, then you can really link to the rest of us. But it's really a good opportunity for, who in here uses it? Whose organization? Uh-oh. That doesn't look good. Okay, so I'm gonna do my skill that as a business development officer, use that. Use that for your organization. It's easy. I know I didn't want to do it either. But but honestly, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like I see some faces like, no, don't want it. It's really beneficial to business organizations. And I'm gonna simply say that because I started myself one just so that I knew how to utilize it for my office. It is the easiest and best way to find out what is going on in the city without having to jump through a bunch of hoops. You can put in something so simple as diversity, workforce, the hashtags in that manner, and it'll pull it up for you. So if you're not using it, push your organization to use it, because not only those millennials, but there's Generation X and honestly a lot of baby boomers. My grandmother was on it, so before me. So you really want to make sure that you use that because it's a quick opportunity. I mean, we are all busy. I mean, we have said an unlimited amount of times how much is going on in the city, but it gives you a quick opportunity to see something you may have missed. Just like today's event, and we've had a number of events. We send it out a number of different ways, but that's the quickest and easiest way for you to find out what's going on in the city. If you get a free moment and say, hey, I can go attend something, you can go to Twitter and say, okay, there's an opportunity there around the corner, let me go and network there. So if you're not on it, use it. even if you're not using it and you need some help, call me, I'll help you with it.
And if I may note, give that information to your folks that you're assisting, because it is a great way. Social media, and more people use their phones. Less people have laptops and desktop computers at home. The mobile cell phone usage for information is going to be like at 75% within a few years. So you think about everyone who has a cell phone, a smartphone, and then of those who use it to look up information. So definitely share that with your constituents, because that's a great way to find out information.
Indeed. Thank you.
One last?
Just a simple request, as you disseminate the information of all of us present, could you try to avoid using the initial descriptors and spell out the names of the organizations?
Alphabet soup is really difficult. we use a lot of that around here, but and I think probably on those sign-in sheets you'll see a lot of that. But I think
Ashford will take care of it.
Yeah,
there it is, Ashford.
Spell out the acronyms.
But if you have any problems, then
There'll be somebody who can answer the question.
yes, ma'am, by all means.
Well, thank everybody again. We look forward to collaborating with y'all more here in the immediate future.